And I want you to listen closely because this isn't one of those stories where everything turns out fine in the end. Liam was, well, he was ordinary. That's the best way to describe him. 17 years old, average grades, average friends, average life. He wasn't popular, but he wasn't invisible either. He was just there. You know the type. He lived in a small town surrounded by farmland and old woods. The kind of town where the biggest event of the year is the county fair. Nothing ever happened there. Nothing scary anyway. Until one autumn evening. Liam was walking home from his part-time job at a grocery store. It was getting dark. The streetlights were just starting to flicker on. He had his hands in his jacket pockets, thinking about dinner, thinking about homework, just normal stuff. And then he saw something. An old man, probably in his 70s. Gray beard, dirty coat, shaky hands. He was standing next to an old bicycle on the side of the road. The chain had snapped. It was dragging on the pavement like a dead snake. The old man looked up as Liam walked past, and he said, "Hey, son, you know anything about bikes?" Liam stopped walking. For a second, he looked at the man, really looked at him. The man's face was pale. His eyes looked tired. Not just physically tired, but like he'd been waiting for something for a very long time. And Liam thought about helping. He really did. But then he thought about how cold it was, about how he didn't know how to fix a bike, about how his mom was waiting with dinner, and he just kept walking. Behind him, the old man called out, "Please, anyone?" Liam didn't look back. That was day one. Now, here's where it gets strange. 3 days later, 3 days, Liam was biking home from a friend's house. He took the same road, and there was the same man, same bike, still broken. But this time, the man wasn't standing. He was sitting on the curb with his head in his hands. It had been raining. His jacket was soaked. He was shivering. And Liam thought, how? How is he still here? 3 days in the same spot, no phone, no family, nobody. Something felt wrong. Not sad, wrong. So Liam stopped. He said, "Hey, sir, do you need help?" The old man looked up. His eyes were pale blue, watery, but not from the rain. He said, "I need to get home." Liam said, "Where's home?" The man smiled, a tired, strange smile, and he said, "I'll tell you on the way." Liam should have asked more questions. Anyone would, but he didn't, because he was too busy feeling guilty about day one. He thought helping now would make up for walking away before. That was his first mistake. So Liam loaded the old man's bike onto his rear rack. The man climbed onto the back of Liam's bike. He was heavier than he looked, and he smelled strange. Not bad, just strange. Like damp wool and old flowers, like a church basement. They started riding. At first, Liam tried to make conversation. "So, what's your name?" The man said, "I'll tell you when we get closer." Liam thought that was odd, but he let it slide. Some old people are private. Maybe the man was embarrassed about where he lived. So he kept pedaling. They passed the gas station, then the old movie theater, then the last strip mall before the county line. The man just hummed. A low, tuneless sound. Liam said, "Okay, well, where are we headed? Give me an address." Liam said, we're heading toward the old quarry road. There's nothing out there but fields and woods, no houses for miles." The man said, "Just keep going." Liam said, "Seriously, just tell me the street name. I've lived here my whole life. I know every road, every neighborhood. You can tell me." And then, and this is where Liam's skin started crawling, the man leaned closer. His mouth was right next to Liam's ear. His breath was cold, not cool, cold, like breathing on a winter window. He said, "You don't know this place, not really." Liam felt the temperature drop, not like, "Oh, it's a little chilly." His fingers went numb. His arms broke out in goosebumps. He tried again. "Left or right? What's the cross street?" The man interrupted him every single time. Liam said, "Is it on Maple?" The man said, "Left here." Liam said, "Can you just give me a house number?" The man said, "I'm telling you myself." Liam said, "But I'm the one pedaling. I need to know where we're going." And the man said, very quietly, very calmly, "No, you just need to follow." That word made Liam's stomach turn, but he didn't stop, because he kept thinking about day one, about how he walked away, and he thought, if I stop now, I'm no better than before. So he kept pedaling. The road changed. Asphalt turned to gravel. Gravel turned to dirt. Dirt turned to nothing, just tire tracks in mud. Liam's bike light started flickering. The trees on both sides got thicker, darker, and then they stopped. In front of them was a house, old, Victorian, paint peeling off in long strips like dead skin. The windows were dark, no lights, no curtains, just black glass. But the front door was slightly open, creaking, just a little. Back and forth. Liam said, "This is it?" The man said, "This is it." Liam helped him off the bike. The man didn't take his bike. He just stared at the open door. Liam said, "I can drop you at the front step. It's no problem." And the man's voice changed, got sharp, almost angry. "No," Liam said, "but it's dark and muddy and..." The man said, "Drop me here, by the old oak." Liam looked at the oak. It was massive, dead, no leaves, just twisted branches against the gray sky, and wrapped around the trunk, faded ribbons, pink, blue, white, like a memorial. Liam felt something cold run down his spine, but the man was already walking toward the tree, slowly, limping. Liam said, "Do you want me to wait? Make sure you get inside?" The man sat down at the base of the oak. He didn't go to the house, he just sat there, in the mud, under the dead tree. And then he said something that made Liam freeze. "Thank you, Liam." Liam said, "I never told you my name." The man smiled, not warmly, not kindly. He said, "No, you didn't." Liam didn't wait. He turned his bike around and pedaled as fast as he could. He didn't look back, not once. But all the way home, he heard that voice in his head. "Thank you, Liam. Thank you, Liam." Liam didn't sleep that night. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, going over every detail, the cold breath, the ribbons on the tree, the way the man said his name. And the more he thought about it, the more he knew he had to go back. Not because he was brave, but because he couldn't live with not knowing. The next morning, he got on his bike, bright sunlight, blue sky. Everything looked normal, safe. He took the same roads, past the gas station, past the strip mall, onto the gravel, onto the dirt. And then he got to where the house should have been. There was no house, no Victorian, no peeling paint, no creaking door, just an iron gate, rusted, bent. And beyond it, row after row of headstones, a cemetery. Liam got off his bike. He walked the bike through the gate. The grass was overgrown, weeds up to his knees. Some of the headstones were so old the names had worn away, but one of them, near the back, was different. It was under a dead oak tree, the same dead oak, with faded ribbons wrapped around the trunk. Liam walked closer. The headstone was weathered but readable, and this is what it said. Elias Vane waited, never came. 1948 to 2021. That was 3 years ago. Liam stumbled back, and then he saw it. Leaning against the back of the headstone, an old bicycle, rusted, chain broken, tires flat, moss growing on the seat, the same bike. Liam turned to run, but that's when he noticed the other graves, dozens of them, all near the back of the cemetery, all with fresh flowers, all with dates in the last 5 years, and on each one, a small object, a shoe, a watch, a glove, like souvenirs. And then Liam saw the newest grave. The dirt was still soft, the headstone was small, plain, no flowers yet. And when he read the name, his blood turned to ice. Liam heard a sound behind him, a soft crunch, like a footstep on dry leaves. He turned. No one was there, but his shadow on the ground, his shadow was no longer alone. Standing beside it was a second shadow, taller, thinner, holding a bicycle by the handlebars, and a voice, not old anymore, young, hungry, right behind Liam's ear. "You asked for my address, Liam. I told you. You're already here." Liam ran. He doesn't remember the ride home. He doesn't remember opening his front door. He just remembers locking every lock and sitting in the corner of his room until the sun came up. But here's the thing. That morning, when he looked out his window, there was a bicycle leaning against his mailbox. The chain was broken, and sitting on the seat, a single faded ribbon. So here's what I believe. I believe Elias Vane died 3 years ago, alone, on the side of some road, waiting for someone to stop. And no one did. I believe that kind of loneliness, that kind of waiting, doesn't just disappear. It turns into something else, something that finds people who walk away. And I believe that when Liam went back to that cemetery, he wasn't visiting a grave. He was keeping a promise he never made.